A very good morning to all my BBA final year students. Let us begin with your subject of ASPM, that is Advertising and Sales Management. Now, this is the part for the marketing specialization students only. So we were studying in the last class the types of advertising we learned in the previous class or the previous video. Today we will learn about the revision of unit 1, based on which we'll have a Zoom interaction class with you students. So the entire unit 1 consists of various topics. So I've divided the entire unit 1 into two parts. So we'll revise the first part in this video, and we'll revise the next part in another video, based on which we'll have an interaction or doubt clearance with you students. So the first part or the first concept or the first topic of this subject is communication, based on which the unit 1 is consisting of. So this part of communication you have already studied or learned in your subject of BCS. It is not new to you students that what is communication, what is the process of communication, or what are the channels of communication. It is not a new subject to you. You have already have learned in the subject of BCS in your second year. So let us come to the topic, that is communication. The word communication has arrived from the Latin word communist, which means common. In common, communication means sharing of information between two or more persons. Now, as we know, communication takes place between two or more persons. Essentially, there should be two or more persons to pass the information from one person to another person. Passing of information or passing of message from one person to another person is simple meaning of communication. If I generally describe communication, passing of information means sharing of thoughts, opinions, ideas, or we can say feelings, or we can say views. Like, my point of view is different from other person. Suppose there is a topic, general topic about social media. So I can say about the pros of social media. The other person can say the cons of social media. Means there are advantages of certain things and there are disadvantages. My viewpoint is of advantages, the other person viewpoint is of disadvantages. So if we interact with each other or we share our opinions and ideas with each other, that is the part of communication, that I am saying my point of view and the other person is listening, and other person is saying his point of view and I am listening. That is the total scenario or the total concept of communication. And information like thoughts, ideas, views, feelings, opinion, etc. Communication creates a common level of understanding between two or more persons, a process of communication sharing in verbal or non-verbal forms. Now, a level of understanding. If the persons involved in the communication wants each other to understand the meaning or the message which is passed, they should have a common level of understanding. What is a common level of understanding? Again, common level of understanding, we can describe it as the language should be understood by the both persons, the sender of the message and the receiver of the message. Sender is the person who sends the message to pass the information, or the first person to pass the information. Receiver of the message, the person to whom the sender has sent the message, or the person to whom the message has to be sent. So there are two parties involved, that is the sender of the message and the receiver of the message. So common level of understanding or common ground of understanding means the language, the body language, the postures, the feelings, the opinions, the views should be equally understood in the same manner the sender has sent to the receiver. If the sender is asking to complete, suppose the sender is a superior and the receiver is a subordinate. So if the sender, the superior, is asking to complete the particular task in a particular given time, so the receiver has to understand the language, the tone, the perception and the importance of the message transmitted to him by the superior, and he has to complete the task within so and so time. So that creates a common level of understanding between the both persons, that is the sender of the message and the receiver of the message. And it can be verbal or it can be non-verbal. Verbal means commonly oral or written. If we spoken or written is called as verbal, and non-verbal means gestures, symbols, body language, eye contact, etc. Sometimes during we can all notice during examination time we have a good eye contact and hand gestures to our friends in the examination. So that is one type of communication only if we communication with our friends. Whereas written or oral communication, written means in forms of written, we can say in organizational level, what we can say organizational level, we can say the office memos, the office notice, or we can say the office timing notice or something like that, office orders. So they are written. Oral means orally spoken to from one person to other person. So that is the entire scenario of communication. It is sharing of information like thoughts, opinions, ideas, views from one person to another person. Now, coming down to the part of features, what are the different features of communication which helps a person to communicate with each other? How does the communication helps a person to communicate with the other person or the pass the message from one person to another person? First point is communication takes place between at least two persons or more persons, two or more persons. Now, if I am the speaker of the message, there has to, on the other hand, the listener of the message. If there is a no listener or not a receiver on the end of my communication process, then it is useless. Communication is totally useless. So we can say that there should be a sender of the message and there should be a receiver of the message. At least two persons or there can be more persons. Suppose I am the superior of my company, I have to communicate with my subordinates and there are 10 number of subordinates under me. So I can communicate with two or more persons. More persons have communicated, message is passed to the 10 number of people. That is the meaning of communication takes place between two or more persons. Second part is two-way process. Two-way process, we can say it as the sender and the receiver are almost the same importance in the transmission of communication or transmission of message of communication. Why? Because if the sender wants to send some message, the receiver should receive and understand the message in the same sense the sender wants to send the message. Example, if we say we have advertising of different medias. So if we can say the advertising of Horlicks, women's Horlicks wants to communicate with a woman above 30 years. So he has to be clear with his advertisement that the product is available in the market and it is beneficial to the woman above 30 years. So the receiver means the woman above 30 years in India and around India can consume the product and get the benefits of the product. So that is the part played by the sender and the receiver. It's a two-way process. So sender should receive, sender should send and make the receiver understand in the same sense the sender wants to convey his message. The third part is the message. Now, what is the message? Message is very important. It should be meaningful. Secondly, it should be timely. It should be sent to the correct person, correct time, and correct place. The message should be sent to the correct person, correct time, and correct place, and it should be meaningful. Meaningless message is not counted or not, we can say, not appropriate in the process of communication. The message should be valued enough, the message should be transmitted, the message should be clear enough, the message should be understood in the same language the sender has sent, and receiver should understand in the same language and same context. The fourth part is dynamic in nature. It is dynamic in nature. How? Because of the people involved in it. The more number of people involved in it, it evolves. That communication evolves from it. Evolves means gets larger and larger. So that is the meaning of dynamic. Means the more number of persons are involved in the process of communication, the communication becomes larger and larger. Now, the fifth point is establishing mutual understanding. What is mutual understanding means? Sender of the message and receiver of the message should have a mutual level of understanding. Suppose in an organization I'm working as an employee, my superior and I should have that much of understanding or mutual understanding between us that only the body language can speak about the part of communication. The eye actions, the body language should be enough for the superior and the subordinate to communicate with each other. That is establishing mutual understanding, mutual grounds, mutual understanding. If a person uh, is not interested in the process of communication, suppose the sender is sending the message and the receiver is not able to understand it, or not able to are not interested to take the message, then it is useful in the process of communication, useless in the process of communication. Means there is no mutual understanding between two persons, that is the sender of the message and the receiver of the message. Coming back to the next point, that is response. Response, what is it? Response means suppose there is instruction passed. Suppose we are the teachers, we give you instructions in the class to perform the quiz with the so many instructions, like list of instructions. So what is your response if you perform the quiz in a proper manner which we instructed you to do? That is the response to our communication. Response means the positive thing we do after getting a message or after getting a information from the person who has sent the message, that is the sender of the message. Next is systematic. It is a systematic process. Systematic means everything is done orderly, mannerly, and in on time. It is done orderly, mannerly, or in time. Now, next part is forms of communication. Forms we already discussed. There are two forms, that is verbal and non-verbal. Now, verbal form is normally used in the official grounds or the official language or the official form in an organization, whereas the non-verbal form is used in the unofficial or unofficial form in an organization. That is the verbal and non-verbal. Verbal, again I repeat, it's in the written or oral form. Non-verbal means gestures, eye contacts, body language, etc. Flow of information. Flow of information means it can flow from top to bottom in an organization. We have three levels of management, that is top level, middle level, and lower level. And it can flow from top to bottom means from the CEOs to the managers to the workers, or from the workers to the managers to the CEO. From top to bottom, or the sideways means to my colleagues if I share the information, or to the colleagues of other groups if I share my information. So communication is a free flow of information. It can flow from various positions, and it can flow from um, various persons. Now, last one is it is a continuous process. Not only sending a message ends the communication, but also receiving the feedback is also contained in the part of communication. So it is a continuous process. It continues to deliver the message which is sent from one person to another person, and from another person to the next of the community or the next people. Now, coming down to the next topic we are going to learn, that is marketing communication. Now, we all know what is marketing. It is selling of products. Some people say it is selling of product. Some people say it is advertising of product. Some people say when we go, it is market research. So, marketing is term have different meanings with different authors and different people. So, let us learn what is marketing communication and how does a company grab opportunity with the use of marketing communication in its products. Now, marketing depends heavily on an effective communication flow between the company and the customers. Now, marketing and communication is totally related to each other. Now, marketing depends heavily on the effective communication flow between the company and the customers. If a company needs to produce new goods, then it has to send it to the market, and when it is available in the market, The company has to relate or has to send the information to the customers that so and so product is available in the market. That is how marketing communication works. Manufacturing product and making it available market is a one part of the company's job. It is equally perhaps more important to make the customer aware of the product availability in the market. Now, manufacturing a product means the manufacturers, and making it available is a part of the marketer. Manufacturer is a different person, marketer is a different person, or they can be the same person. Manufacturer means who produce, who brings raw material, process it and make it into finished goods. Marketer get those finished goods and make it available in the market. The manufacturer and marketer can be a same person, either can be same persons or can be different persons, depending on company to company and company policies and procedures. So the work of a manufacturer is only to collect the raw materials, make it in work in progress and deliver the finished goods to the customers. The work of the marketer begins here to take the product and to deliver it in the market. Now, it is equally when the product is delivered to the market, the customer has to know that there is so and so product. Suppose I'm producing soap. So the customer, when he goes to the market, should know that my soap is available in the market. How do we communicate with the customer? It is through marketing communication. That so and so product, suppose my company is making product of bulbs, light bulbs. So my light bulbs are available in the market. This is of so and so price. This is of so and so utility. It consumes so and so volt. So that is the process of marketing communication, to make the people aware about one's company's product. It is available in the market, its utilizations, its features, its attributes, etc. What it can benefit to the customers when they buy my product. Now, marketing aims in two major factors. We all know that. First one is to retain or increase the sale of the product, and second one is to supply of to fulfill the needs and wants of customers. These are the two basic objectives, or we can say aim of any marketing or the marketer of a company. Now, coming to the paragraph. The product availability in the market, and it is never sufficient to make availability product without propagations of distinct features of the product, which can be done through marketing communication. Now, propaganda or propagation, what do we understand by this term? Propaganda means making the customers know about your product, the features of the product. Suppose we are having we came a few summers before, we came across, we were using commonly the glucose. That was bottled, or we can say that was in a box. We were using Dabur glucose. Now, before some time, before 2-3 years, Tata developed a product that was a ready-made glucose bottles, ready-made glucose bottle. And how we come to know that that product is available in the market? Through the process of marketing communication. That product is advertised, it is showed what are the benefits of the product, what features of the product, how can it be used. So these all work is done by the marketing communication. So the work of the marketer does not end only by providing the finished goods in the market to the customers, but also to make it aware the people that product is available. So only the people will purchase and fulfill the objective of a company, that is to increase the sale and to satisfy the customers' needs and wants. The next is marketing communication is answer to all the below questions. So why shall the product be used? Why shall the product be consumed? I gave the example of women's Horlicks. So women's Horlicks, if you see the advertisements, it increases bone density as women's bone density decreases after the age of 30 years. So we can say that why the product shall be used. Second is how the product can be used. Means the advertisement is showed, or the marketer or the people related, that is retailer, manufacturer, tell you that it has to be mixed with 2-3 spoons in a glass of milk, 200 or 250 ml of milk to consume it. How can the product be used? How can the product be used? I also told you who can use the product. The third point is who can use the product. Means the woman above 30 years. Where can the product be used? It has to be consumed or drank by the person or the woman. And when can the product be used? It can be used anytime, which is preferable by the consumer. So I answered all the questions based on one product, that is women's Horlicks. So if we take the example of a shampoo, so why should the product be used? For a good hair wash, we use the product of shampoo. How can the product be used? We have to apply the shampoo and water, and we have to rinse it with water. Who can use the product? Obviously the adults can use the product. For baby products, we have baby shampoos. Where can the product be used? It has to be used on our hair or scalp. Now, when can the product be used? When we can wash our hair, we can use the product. So these are all the questions which are questioned by which are the questions of a consumer to the marketer, or we can say to the part of the marketing communication. And these questions are answered in the process of marketing communication. Now, coming down to the part of objectives of marketing communication. So what are the different objectives of marketing communication? To increase awareness. Obviously, to increase the awareness of the product, means any new product launch in the market is to be told, it's to be surveyed, is to be distribution of free samples, that to tell the people and make aware the people that my product is available in the market. To change the attitude. Suppose some products or some services are uh, are deemed, or we can say the brand has come down due to some other technical reasons. Means we can say the Maggie was brought down because it contained iron. So by advertising and making communication with the people, they have they have said that there is no chemicals or irons available in the market, available in the product of Maggie. So they came back with a flashback, and they undo, or we can say they deleted, or we can say they removed every tension related to Maggie product in the minds of the people through marketing communication. They communicated with the potential customers to make it aware that Maggie does not contain any toxic or iron contains, so it is safe to consume. Providing information about the product. So there are certain products that should be provided information of. Example, if there are products of medicines, if the products of any other pharmaceutical products, should be provided with information that the product is for this age of children or this age of people, the product is used in this area, or the product is available for this category of person, the target group of persons. Now, creating interest. How can it create interest? By distributing free samples, by making advertisements, by making it we can say interest, like by making it popular in social media, or we can say some celebrities using the product. So creating an interest about the product means to create an awareness, interest about the product, that the product is so and so, and it has so and so features, attributes, characteristics. It is very useful product. Now, collaborating a brand. What is this? Now, brand image or collaborating a brand is very simple. Brand image means if there are sales in the market, it directly or indirectly increases the share value of a product, which increases the brand value or the brand loyalty. Now, brand value and the brand loyalty are two different parts, but collaborating a brand means brand loyalty. How can a person make repeated purchases? So the product should be good enough in the quality, in the price, it can be affordable, and it should be useful. So these are the characteristics of a product where a customer become a loyal customers. If the services provided by the company is very good, then it is easy for a company to communicate with the people, and when the people make continuous purchases, then we can say the brand loyalty or the company's loyalty or the product loyalty is maintained. Stimulating demand. Now, whenever there is a demand and supply of goods, we can say stimulating demand means when the demand rises, supply falls down, and when the supply rises, demand falls down. It is very obvious. Then to create the demand and supply in market, there should be a market survey or the market, we can say the market research available to the marketer. It should be available. So the product, if it is a new product, how are the people consuming the product? If the product is old, what are the reviews of the product? So that is the marketing, we can say marketing survey, or marketing, we can say the study of markets. So I already told you the increased awareness about a new product and already existing product. Then to change the attitude, if the products have some defects or the company's claims with some certain problems, to change the attitude and thinking about the company. Providing information about already existing product and a new product both, but about the characteristics, features and attributes. Creating interest by distributing free samples, by giving advertisings, by providing social media contents, etc. Collaborating a brand to create brand loyalty, and stimulating demand, what the demand of the people regarding the product. Now coming down to the last part of the video, the process of marketing communication. The sender is the originator. We have the process of communication. We already studied in the BCS subject in your second year. We will study this again, but in the part of marketing communication. That was business communication. This is marketing communication. Both have different concepts and different meanings. Sender. The sender is the originator of the message in the process of marketing communication. Obviously, the sender is the originator of the message. It can be a marketer. It can be the manufacturer of the product. Encoding. The conversation of the sender, convention of senders, ideas and thoughts into message, usually in the form of words or signs. Now, suppose I want to deliver that my product is so and so and it is of so and so use. So my ideas and thoughts are brought into actions or words in the form of encoding. That conversion of sender's ideas and thought into a message is called as encoding. Now channel. So transmission of media should require a channel. Channel can be a voice, a radio, newspaper, television, internet, social media, any platform, or we can say pamphlets, etc. So it can be communicated from one person to another person. Next is decoding. Decoding is interpretation of languages and symbols sent by the source through a channel commonly understanding between two communicators. Now decoding means it is totally opposite of encoding. Encoding is when the thoughts, ideas, feelings are converted into conversion of thoughts, ideas, feelings into a message. Here the message is understood through thoughts, ideas and feelings. The opposite of encoding is decoding. Receiver. The marketer sends a message through the channel to the potential customers to satisfy the needs and wants of the customers. So the customers are the ultimate source of receivers, to whom the message is sent, to whom the product is made available, to whom the idea, thoughts are made to understand. That is the receiver of the message. Lastly, the feedback. In interpersonal communication, the receiver responds to a message directly or indirectly. Directly means agreeing and saying I agree, and indirectly means nodding their head yes or no. So that is directly or indirectly. And feedback can be received through email, through voice, or through, we can say, letters. So this is the whole entire process of communication and marketing communication. So we learned about communication, features of communication, marketing communication, objectives of marketing communication, and the process of marketing communication. This is the first part revision of your unit 1. Next, we will study about models of marketing communication. That is the second part of the video. We'll have a discussion class based on this video on Saturday. Thank you, one and all.